We're going to go into more on the subject of telepathy, and we want to encourage you to try to have telepathy with other people. Now, the easiest way to have telepathy with other people is to we're trying to not have telepathy with anybody right now. I don't know how you try to have telepathy with other people. It's like, do you look at somebody very intensely and then snap your fingers 3 times? It's like you kind of look at them and they like force your like forehead into a weird look and go, I'm gonna send it to you like I'm taking a big dump or something. Is that how you send thoughts from one person to another? No. No, you don't go, I'm sending you thought. No, it doesn't work that way. It's not a force thing to send consciousness to other consciousnesses. You don't have to apply force. When you are communicating with someone else verbally, well, you got to have the force, all these muscles in here in order to move your jaw and move your lips and this all. I mean, it was all automatic. We can't remember learning to speak, but we all did. So it's a big problem that you very first start trying to do telepathy with other people is, did you get it? Did you get it? It doesn't work. So how are you going to develop your ESP and all these other psychic skills if you just can't make a force pop it like a zit out of my head and through the screen and getting to you and into your... Yeah, how are we going to do that? We're going to have some electronic gizmos that are going to read your mind. They're putting electrodes here. We're going to put you in an MRI machine that's going to read all the magnetics in here, because I've seen pictures of this by, the news or whatever, where they have... Yeah, this is all... It might as well be sci-fi. Because where is all this stuff? It's maybe in a lab in some psychology department of some major university like Harvard or something. How come you don't hear about this? How come there's not active training in how to... Either they've got people who do telepathy or you don't. Now, there are apps that you can get for your phone that say that they're there to help you build your psychic abilities. One of them is like, guess which color is going to flash next on your phone. Is it going to work? I doubt it. But I really want to have telepathy with other people. So I can, not use the phone to phone people. It's just that we've heard lots of stories in sci-fi and fantasy that people could do this. And is it the military that's got all this know-how? No. The answer is, as far as we're given to know, no. What are we given to know? A lot of stories. Is there any truth to these stories? it's probably easier for you to call up. Well, you can't do that because of the COVID. I was going to say call up a bunch of your friends, have them come over, tell them you're going to serve them beer. And once they get here, say we're going to do some experiments doing telepathy. Okay, you have your first beer, and we're going to test you after one beer, and we're going to go to 6 beers, and after 6 beers, we're going to see if there's any difference in your ability to do telepathy. Just something, you're going to have more fun doing that than reading through a bunch of dry documents about supposed effects of telepathy. That's just somebody writing this report because they got a grant from somebody else and they had to have a report. Because if you're reading a report on telepathy, how are you going to trust that anything is accurate in there? If you're in the military and you're a general and you've ordered a major to do a bunch of studies into this, and then you get the report back, well, if you can't do the telepathy with the major, you're going to say, Major, your report stinks because it was me that wanted to have the telepathy. I didn't want to have you telling me stories about a bunch of privates. The next item is going to be intuition. Sometimes people will say when the phone rings, if you have an old-fashioned landline with multiple people in the house, the phone rings and sometimes people will say who they think is on the phone. Is that intuition or not? Well, they don't always get it right, do they? Sometimes the same person always calls at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you say, that's Jim. Because they always call at 1 o'clock. But there's other stories where, you're just thinking about someone. And then the phone rings and it's that someone. And then you're going to go, okay, this is a little bit more interesting because I don't talk to this person hardly at all. And I was thinking about this person and then they phoned. And then you're going to go, well, I wasn't really thinking about this person. I mean, I didn't actively go on Facebook and look down my list of people and say, there's Sam, and I want to communicate with Sam. So I'm going to just think of Sam's face. Can you do that? Maybe somebody's going to say they can, but is that more likely for Sam to call? Maybe. It's not really easy to tell you that this could be true. But usually the way that my group puts it is we're given to think. We don't say I think. Why? It's just our experience that these things come up, these things that we're talking about, and our experience from watching very closely is that these thoughts that we're thinking, we never asked for these thoughts to come. They just arrived out of the blue. Sometimes they're like, where'd that come from? I was talking about football. Next thing you know, the thoughts are coming in my head about tulips. How is this? I never asked for tulips, but that's what you get sometimes. So we say we're given to think about these things. I'm given to talk about, I've said many times on this channel, I pick up the phone and I turn it on and I don't know what I'm going to say most of the time. Sometimes I do. But, I might have an idea in my head that I'm going to talk about tulips, and I open my mouth and I don't talk about tulips at all, or I do. And I never know. So I'm going to say it's not me that's choosing what I'm going to say about the subject. It's something else in consciousness that is having me say these things.